Chapter 1969. Really? Han Jingjing was overjoyed when she heard that it was free. You're not that stupid. Of course we can't always be stupid, right? After hearing what you said I was enlightened. I'm not stupid anymore, so you're my great benefactor. You can pick whatever you want. In order to avoid trouble, the stall owner tried his best to please Lin Yi and Han Jingjing. Book C Pavilion Dash. The two hoodlums had made it very clear that these two might be from noble houses. There were many noble houses in Donghai, but no matter which one, even if it was the Kong family that hadn't become a noble house yet, they could easily deal with an antique seller like him. So naturally he didn't dare to offend them. Han Jingjing picked a bronze cauldron that looked good, and Lin Yi also randomly picked one to study. But when they left, Lin Yi still gave the stall owner 200 yuan because Lin Yi didn't want to take advantage of him. 200 yuan was the cost of these two cauldrons plus the one he broke earlier. After sending the two away, the stall owner wiped his sweat. He thought to himself, I can't scam people anymore. I almost got into trouble today. Luckily I was smart and those two didn't want to teach me a lesson. Otherwise I'm afraid I'll be in danger. After buying the cauldrons, Lin Yi didn't want to continue looking around, and Han Jingjing's goal was the cauldron. So the two left the antique market and went straight to school. It was almost time for school to end. Donghai Industry University. The news spread very fast in the school. Especially the news that Su Shirhan was going to attend the freshman party. Naturally, the news spread throughout the school in no time. Although everyone was doubtful about this news, the medical students all patted their chests confidently, claiming that they had already video chatted with Su Shirhan, and Su Shirhan had personally chosen the performance for them in the video. Not only that, Su Shirhan was coming tomorrow, and she would rehearse with them and go to the freshman party together. Also, the class leader of the medical major, Bai Weituo, said on the school's BBS that this was actually a challenge. His performance was all for a girl he liked. Bai Weituo simply wrote down the bet between him and Zhang Duopan on the BBS. The purpose of this was to prevent Zhang Duopan from going back on his word and not admitting it. Of course. More importantly, it was to win He Meiyue's favor. Bai Weituo's writing was very emotional. He said that his true feelings for He Meiyue had touched Su Shirhan, so Su Shirhan helped him after knowing that He Meiyue was his fan. Although this theory was very far-fetched, let's not talk about how Bai Weituo knew Su Shirhan. Even if he managed to contact Su Shirhan wouldn't come to the freshman party for a stranger, right? If Su Shirhan was this kind, then there would be things to do every day and she wouldn't have to do anything else. But even so, some people were moved by Bai Weituo's true feelings and He Meiyue was one of them. This Bai Weituo is really considerate. He knows that you're Su Shirhan's fan and he actually invited Su Shirhan here. He even made a public post saying that it was for you. Xiaoling said excitedly. Sai, isn't it all because of Zhang Duopan? I wonder how much Bai Weituo paid to invite Su Shirhan this time. He Meiyue wasn't stupid. She knew that Bai Weituo couldn't have invited Su Shirhan because he was moved by her or something. One had to know that Su Shirhan's appearance fee was sky high. And normal people couldn't even invite her. And this time, if it wasn't for Zhang Duopan inviting Su Shirhan's junior sister Qingyi to the freshman party, Bai Weituo wouldn't have invited Su Shirhan. Now, in order to suppress Zhang Duopan, he could only grit his teeth and invite a celebrity. He Meiyue didn't know how much Bai Weituo spent, but Zhang Duopan used his family's connections to find Qingyi. He still spent 200,000 in appearance fee and that was the price of a favor. One had to know. Qingyi was just a celebrity, she couldn't be compared to Su Shirhan. If it wasn't for her junior sister Su Shirhan's halo, probably not many people would know her. Moreover, just singing a song on stage would cost 200,000 yuan. This price was really not low. Could be seen that Zhang Duopan spent a lot of money. Bai Weituo invited Su Shirhan. From He Meiyue's point of view, at least 1 million would be spent, and even 1 million would be hard to invite. Although He Meiyue knew that Bai Weituo's roommate Lin Yi seemed to be very rich, she didn't want Bai Weituo to owe Lin Yi too much. Among the many pursuers, He Meiyue had high hopes for Bai Weituo. So if she really chose Bai Weituo, naturally she didn't want Bai Weituo to owe too much, because He Meiyue wasn't a person who liked to owe others. Meiyue, you don't seem very happy? If someone performed for me I'd be so happy, but that Zhao Xingji guy, other than being fat and inviting me to dinner, he doesn't know anything. Chai Xiaoling said enviously. Man, I hope it's like you. Do you think it's a good thing to have a guy fighting for you? Yue shook her head. As the two were talking, Wang Xinyan pushed the door open and entered the room. Chai Xiaoling saw Wang Xinyan and immediately said excitedly, Xinyan, how is it? Don't tell me your class really invited Su Shihan? Originally, Chai Xiaoling could have called Zhao Xingji, but she and Zhao Xingji hadn't confirmed their relationship yet, so she didn't want to be so proactive. Coincidentally, Wang Xinyan came back, so she asked Wang Xinyan. You guys know too? Wang Xinyan also just got the news. She received Bai Weituo's call and went to Lin Yi's room, but Lin Yi wasn't there yet. So Wang Xinyan followed Lin Yi's arrangement and learned how to perform a small role. Now that she just came back, she heard the discussion of her roommates. These people sure got the news fast. Of course, Wang Xinyan still didn't know that Bai Weituo couldn't wait to declare war. The school's BBS is spreading, it seems like it's true? Chai Xiaoling said excitedly, last time Su Shihan held a concert in Songshan, I really regret not going. It was about to be the college entrance exam, otherwise I would have definitely gone. This time Su Shihan can attend the freshman party. It's such a good opportunity. I finally got to see Su Shihan in person. Yeah, I regretted not going, but it's about to be the college entrance exam. Who can take a leave? Yue said regretfully, this time it's hard for Bai Weituo. Oh right, Xinyan, you're close with Lin Yi. This time Su Shihan came to the freshman party. Did he help her? How much did he actually spend? If you like this work, you're welcome to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Target equals undevoid. Chapter 1970. He knows Su Shihan? Even if he knows her, he can't just come like that, can he? Yue said shocked. How good is he to be able to invite her without spending money? I don't know about that because I didn't ask. Xinyan shook her head. But since he's here, there's no need to feel pressured. Lin Yi won't try to impress himself. Xinyan knew Lin Yi very well. She knew that Lin Yi wasn't someone who would let himself get the short end of the stick when they met on the train. People cheated him, but he took all their money. So this Su Shihan thing shouldn't be too difficult. But what Xinyan didn't know was that Lin Yi treated his friends very well. Even if it was difficult, Lin Yi would still try to help. But Lin Yi wouldn't do something like that. That's good. Yue nodded. While the school was boiling with excitement, Zhang Duopan's face was as dark as a pig's liver as he sat in the rehearsal room, smoking. Motherfucker, Bai Weituo actually invited Su Shihan? If we invite Qingyi, even if she can get a place, she won't be a match for Bai Weituo. Zhang Duopan cursed. This time he was 100% sure that he would win. With Qingyi on the stage, at least the first place of the singing competition would be his. Most of the student council members in charge of voting would vote for them. After all, they had to give face to celebrities. But now the first place was probably Su Shihan and the second place was Qingyi. Although second place was already a great result in Zhang Duopan's eyes, it was as ugly as it could be. This was simply a slap in the face. Brother Zhang, it can't be that they're just creating hype, right? Fan Ganha also frowned as he browsed the school on his phone. The post on the S forum hesitantly said, then they will use this incident to destroy our morale and make us give up on our own accord? I don't think so. As long as Bai Weituo isn't crazy, he wouldn't use such a despicable method. Otherwise, even if he succeeded, our morale would be affected and we would have to give up our performance. Yue would look down on him. Zhang Duopan shook his head and said, this matter is most likely true. But how did they invite them? We spent 200,000 to invite Qingyi. And that's because your dad's company asked her to endorse a product before, so they gave her a discount. How come Su Shihan's appearance isn't more than $1 million? Fan Ganha asked suspiciously. I don't know, but that Lin Yi seems to be a rich man. Maybe he paid for it, Zhang Duopan said. That bastard, I'll beat him to death sooner or later. Fan Ganha was furious when he heard Lin Yi's name. Last time in the cafeteria he wanted to beat Lin Yi up. But the instructor came before he could do anything. He didn't have the chance to do anything, which made him very frustrated. Qingyi will be here tonight. I'll ask her and see if this is true or not. Su Shihan is her Shiji from the same sect. She should know about this. Zhang Duopan said. Then do we continue practicing? Fan Ganha asked. Of course, how can we not practice? When Qingyi comes, we'll continue to practice. Even if we lose, we have to lose with dignity. If we give up, then Yue will look down on us even more. Zhang Duopan snorted. Then if you lose, Brother Zhang, won't you have to give up? Fan Ganhe asked worriedly. That's fine. We'll just say that the bet was made when we drank too much last time. Everything was because we were drunk. I don't think He Meiyue will say anything. Zhang Duopan said. But if I give up directly, then He Meiyue will think that I'm afraid. That's different. Brother Zhang, you're so smart. Fan Ganhe said with admiration. Of course, I'm going to take over the family's company in the future. I can't do it without some intelligence. Zhang Duopan said proudly. Lin Yi didn't know that the school was in an uproar because of Su Shihan's incident. He parked the car in the school parking lot, and Han Jingjing seemed to be interested in Su if equals. Book C Pavilion Nechirhan didn't seem to be interested. She didn't even mention it on the way. After parking the car, Lin Yi sent a message to Mississippi. Han Jingjing was also contacting her brother. Not long after, Meng Yao and Yushu came. He didn't expect Han Xiaoqiao to follow behind them like a little follower. You're not getting off? Lin Yi turned to Han Jingjing and asked. Why should I get off? Aren't you going home? Han Jingjing asked. Home, but don't you want to drive your own car? Lin Yi pointed at the X5M not far away. No, it's a lot of gas. My brother and I will go back in your car. Han Jingjing said matter-of-factly. Okay. Lin Yi was already used to Han Jingjing. He really didn't want to say anything more. Meng Yao and Yushu walked over. Yushu was originally sitting in the front passenger seat, but she frowned when she saw that it was taken by Han Jingjing. She was a little unhappy. Han Jingjing seemed to see Yushu's displeasure as well. She took the initiative to get off the car. I'll sit in the back. Since Han Jingjing said so, Meng Yao and Yushu didn't say anything more. Although they were hitchhikers, they were still neighbors. After driving home, Han Jingjing brought Han Xiaoqiao back to their villa. Lin Yi, Meng Yao and Yushu went back as well. Lin Yi, I heard you invited Su Shihan? Meng Yao asked. Yeah. Lin Yi said and told Meng Yao and Yushu about helping by way to chase He Meiyue. You sure have the mood to help someone else get girls. Meng Yao didn't get angry when she heard that Lin Yi was helping someone else. Oh, I thought Shield Bro was trying to get on that Fox Yan's good side. Yushu said. Man, why would I do that? Besides, she's not called Fox Yan. Lin Yi said. She's seducing Shield Bro. She's called Fox Yan. Yushu said. Alright Shu, I told you not to give people nicknames. It's easy to offend people. Meng Yao didn't know why, but she didn't want to offend Xinyan. Perhaps Xinyan could really become Lin Yi's first wife. Chapter 1971. If that was the case, then the three would have to spend a lot of time together. If they really offended each other, then there would be no turning back. Oh. Yushu nodded unwillingly. Right, Faubert left already? Meng Yao didn't see Faubert when she walked into the villa. She only saw Grandma's son working in the kitchen. Yes, he left in the afternoon. Report the results to Uncle Chu. If it's possible, we'll set up a company branch here. Lin Yi said. Meng Yao nodded and didn't say anything else. She turned to the cauldron in Lin Yi's hand and asked, What's that? I saw Han Jingjing holding something similar in her hand just now. Cauldron. I'm going to study alchemy. Han Jingjing seems to be interested in it as well. Lin Yi said. Meng Yao didn't ask anything else after hearing that it was about alchemy. Grandma's son quickly placed the delicious dishes on the table. Meng Yao and Lin Yi finally understood why a scavenger like Grandma's son could be so good at cooking. She used to be Faubert's wife, the Miss of House Sunday. She used to be the daughter of a rich family. Marrying into Faubert's sect meant marrying into a rich family. She must have received professional training on housekeeping. After dinner, Lin Yi went back to his room. Grandma's son cleaned up the dishes and went back to her room as well. Meng Yao and Yushu sat on the sofa in the living room watching TV. Why is Shield Bro here every day? He doesn't even play with us. Yushu hugged her legs as she sat on the sofa. He suddenly felt bored. The cartoons that made her laugh didn't seem that funny anymore. Was this what it felt like to grow up? In the blink of an eye, she was already a university student. Her high school days were still vivid in her mind. Isn't he always like this? Meng Yao shook her head. When we were in Songshan, didn't he go to dinner every day? It was just that we were more nervous every day. We'd study and read books after dinner. We didn't have much time to watch TV. That's true. We're just too free now. Yushu said in boredom. Yao Yao, we haven't played in Donghai yet. Why don't we go out for a walk? Today. It's too late. Let's do it on the weekend after the freshman's gala. Meng Yao was a little tired and she didn't want to go out again. Lin Yi obviously went out, so she didn't want to disturb Lin Yi. All right. Yushu nodded disappointedly. After Lin Yi went back to his room, he read House Sun's arts to Jiao Yazi and started studying the cauldron he just bought. This kind of cauldron was more than enough for a first-level Huang class refiner, because there was a limit to the amount of elixirs a Huang class refiner could concoct, so they didn't need a cauldron that was too good. But the problem was that Lin Yi wasn't even a first-level Huang class refiner. He could only condense the elixir fire, but he couldn't change the temperature or the intensity of the fire. With a slight change, the elixir fire would be extinguished. Lin Yi practiced a few more times, but the result was the same. He could only put the cauldron aside in disappointment. He was a genius in other people's eyes, but in reality he wasn't much of a genius at all. The only thing he relied on was the art of dragon mastery and the jade space. If it weren't for the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi would just be a very average talent. He was still a golden class master at 18 years old. Compared to those hidden houses and ancient sects, he was an idiot. So Lin Yi didn't force himself and put the cauldron aside. It was just that Lin Yi was worried about Xiao Xiao. 2 years seemed like a long time, but it had already been half a year. There was still a year and a half left, and if she couldn't learn alchemy by then Xiao Xiao would really become an inheritor. After entering the jade space, Lin Yi prepared to continue. There was a saying, hard work makes up for one's lack of talent. Lin Yi was already too far behind Crystal Candy, so he could only rely on hard work and the unique environment in the jade space to catch up. Jiao Lao, how is it? Did you see anything from the arts? Lin Yi asked casually. I did. Jiao Yazi's answer surprised Lin Yi. He thought that Jiao Yazi wouldn't be able to see anything in such a short time, but he really did? What? Lin Yi blinked. This is an incomplete, simplified, and improved first stage of the art of dragon mastery. Jiao Yazi said. What? Lin Yi heard Jiao Yazi's words and his eyes went wide. What? House Sun's arts is the art of dragon mastery? Maybe it's from the same source, or maybe it's just a coincidence. This technique should be similar to the first level of the art of dragon mastery, but there are many parts that are incomplete or simplified but improved. Jiao Yazi nodded and said, the first level of the art of dragon mastery allows one to transfer pure qi to others, repair meridians and heal injuries. All of these are in the Sun family's techniques, but the art of dragon mastery can only be used by men. If equals fastest text update book C pavilion. No advertising, however. The formula is suitable for both men and women. Ah, the improved version of the art of dragon mastery? How could the Sun family have such a thing? Isn't the art of dragon mastery unique? Lin Yi was shocked after hearing Jiao Yazi's words. Who said it's unique? The art of dragon mastery in ancient times was the mantra of the Yellow Emperor's tribe. However, it evolved into a sect, and with the passage of time, this sect became like Chio's chrysanthemum treasured book, gradually declining until it was lost. Jiao Yazi said, the ancestor of House Sun might have been one of these sects, but he was talented and only received the incomplete first level of the art of dragon mastery. After improving it himself, it became the Sun family's technique today. So you're saying that my art of dragon mastery isn't unique? Lin Yi said as realization dawned on him. Of course not, but it should have been lost. Otherwise, the Sun family's technique wouldn't be incomplete and only have the first level of the improved version. Jiao Lao said. I see. Jiao Lao's words surprised Lin Yi. The Sun family actually had this kind of opportunity, and the ancestor of House Sun must have been an amazing person. With just the first level of the incomplete technique, he could improve the Sun family's technique. He could be described as a genius. Chapter 1972. What a waste of time. There are many extraordinary people in this world. You should be able to feel it. Your talent is actually very ordinary, but you are luckier than them. You have the space of the jade pendant and also the art of dragon mastery. Jiao Lao said mercilessly. Of course, someone like Bing Tang who reached the peak of the late phase of the heaven class at the age of 10 might not be a genius. If you entered the jade space 10 years earlier, you would have reached the heaven class already. So many things are coincidental. This art of dragon mastery was obtained by Uncle Master by accident. That's why it became your destiny. Elder Jiao, why's the way you talk these days? It's almost like you're talking about some kind of zen. Lin Yi said, looking at Elder Jiao oddly. It's nothing. I'm just reminding you not to be too proud. You have to be down to earth, Jiao Lao said faintly, but you can also practice the Sun family's technique. It's not too difficult. I can practice it? Wouldn't that waste a lot of time? What's the point of practicing it? Linny asked. It's useless. Your first level of the art of dragon mastery can do everything it can do. But this woman can do it too, Jiao Yazi said. Damn, then why would I waste my time? Linny was speechless. He closed his eyes and ignored Jiao Lao. He knew he was fooled. A flight slowly landed at the airport of East Ocean City, and a girl with tan skin and oversized sunglasses walked out of the domestic arrival gate in a low-key manner. Zhang Duopan and Fan Gonha, who were standing not far away, immediately walked up to her. Ching. If equals fastest text update, Book C Pavilion no ads. Zhang Duopan wanted to call Qingyi, but he was afraid that others would hear him and watch. After all, Qingyi was a celebrity with a little fame. If she attracted the attention of the media, it would be hard for her to get away. The sweet-skinned girl was Qingyi. Her skin color looked very healthy and beautiful. This should be the effect of some kind of light, giving people a wild beauty. Compared to Su Shirhan's pure white skin, it was even more eye-catching. That was why she instantly gained a lot of popularity after her debut. This was also related to her skin color, which was why she was called the coffee girl. Hello, young Master Pan. Qingyi also saw Zhang Duopan and walked over quickly. She was the spokesperson of Zhang Duopan's father's company. Naturally, she had seen Zhang Duopan several times at the company's parties and had some impression of him. Ah, Miss Qing, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy schedule to help me, Zhang Duopan said as he extended his hand. Qingyi didn't have the intention to shake hands with him. It could be seen that she wasn't a casual person. So when she saw Zhang Duopan extend his hand, she very naturally passed her luggage to him and smiled. Then I'll have to trouble young Master Pan. Zhang Duopan was slightly stunned. He wanted to shake hands with Qingyi, but Qingyi seemed to have misunderstood his meaning. She gave him her luggage as if she had taken the initiative to ask for help with the bag. However, Zhang Duopan naturally couldn't refuse. He only paused for a moment and took Qingyi's luggage. This is what I should do. However, his heart wasn't without regret. Although he knew that it wasn't very possible between him and Qingyi, this kind of thing wasn't something a rich young master like him could do. Moreover, it seemed that Qingyi wasn't the type of female celebrity that relied on this kind of method to make money and become famous. With Su Shirhan's halo, she didn't need to do these things at all. She could slowly become famous normally. However, Zhang Duopan still wanted to get closer to Qingyi. After all, he was also very lecherous. It was just that Qingyi didn't let him succeed, so he didn't continue. He didn't forget that the main purpose of inviting Qingyi was to please He Meiyue and compete with Bai Weitua. If he wanted to chase after Qingyi, then it would be putting the cart before the horse. In the end, it was very likely that he wouldn't be able to chase after Qingyi, and He Meiyue wouldn't be able to catch up. Therefore he wasn't that impulsive. He pulled Qingyi's luggage and left the airport with her. They got on the Land Rover Aurora that was parked in the parking lot. Thank you so much this time. You really helped me out. Zhang Duopan got into the driver's seat and said to Qingyi, who was sitting in the back seat. It's okay. You're Mr. Zhang's son and I'm the spokesperson of Mr. Zhang. This little bit of help is nothing. Qingyi said generously. However, young Master Pan said before that it might be a bit difficult to get first place in the singing category. Even if I'm a celebrity, your Donghai Industry University is one of the best universities in the province. There will always be someone stronger than you. Oh, that's right. Now that you mention this matter, I just remembered something very important. Zhang Duopan's face changed slightly and became very serious. It's like this. Originally, it wouldn't be a problem for us to get first place, but my opponent, the guy that I told you about, the guy that I want to beat, actually used his connections to invite your senior sister. My senior sister? Qingyi froze and didn't know how to react. It's Su Shirhan. Fan Gonha added. They invited Su Shirhan too? Qingyi froze. How can my senior sister participate in this kind of small event? As far as I know, she basically doesn't participate in all kinds of events. Missy, you don't know about this? Zhang Duopan also froze. I'm also very confused. I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm asking you for confirmation. But looking at how confident they are, it seems like it's 80% true. Because their classmates said that they already video called Su Shirhan, and Su Shirhan already arranged a program for them in the video. If that's the case, then I'll ask. Qing Yi nodded and took out her phone to call Su Shirhan. Because of Lin Yi's matter, Su Shirhan kept her phone with her and didn't leave it with her manager, Wang Jia. When the phone rang, she picked it up immediately. Why are you calling at this time? Su Shirhan was a bit confused. Why did Qing Yi call so late at night? Senior sister, I just arrived in Donghai City. I heard that you're coming too? Qing Yi asked. What? You're in Donghai City too? Su Shirhan was even more confused. I'm going to Donghai City tomorrow, but why are you in Donghai City too? And how do you know that I'm going too? Target equals undefeated. Chapter 1973. What a coincidence. I was invited by a friend to attend the freshman party of Donghai Industry University, but he said that you were also invited to help another class put on a show. So it's true. Qing Yi said in surprise. Senior sister, I thought you never attend these kinds of events. This time it was a good friend who invited me, so I had no choice but to go. Shirhan smiled. Plus, I've been too busy with work lately. It's good to go out and get some fresh air. Then aren't you afraid that you might get sick? Qing Yi wanted to say that she had a headache, but then she remembered that there were outsiders in the car. Only the people in the company knew that Shirhan had headaches. She was Shirhan's junior sister, so of course she knew about it, but it was better to be subtle. Book C Pavilion Net. And I have medicine Miracle Dr. Guan's painkiller, you know. Shirhan said. No wonder you support them so much. Qing Yi nodded. Oh right, us sisters haven't played together in a long time, let's use this opportunity to go out and have some fun. That's good, I'm flying tomorrow afternoon. Which hotel are you staying at? I'll go find you. Book C Pavilion. Su Shirhan agreed without hesitation. She had a good relationship with this junior martial sister. Both of them were pure girls, so Su Shirhan liked to hang out with her. As for the other stars in the company, some were jealous of Shirhan's results, so they were fake when they hung out with her. Some were that type of girls and Shirhan didn't want to be too close with them. I haven't reached the hotel yet, I'm on the way. How about this, I'll book a double room, we can stay together. Qing Yi said. Okay, but tomorrow I'll go with my bodyguard driver Feng Sanhuang, you can book a room for him too. Shirhan said. You're bringing a bodyguard driver? That's so inconvenient, there's only 2 of us girls, how are we going to stay if you bring a man? It'll be troublesome to go shopping. Qing Yi complained. Plus, we don't have a car, so we don't need to bring him, my friend here has a car. Plus, what danger would there be here? We're attending private events. That works too. Su Shirhan thought about it. Lin Yi had a car, but she wasn't going to bring a car, so Sanhuang wouldn't be of much use. She nodded. Then I'll go by myself. And I'll wait for you, Qing Yi said. After hanging up the phone, Qing Yi shrugged and said to Zhang Duopan, Young Master Pan's senior sister really came this time, so I'm afraid it's impossible for me to help you get first place. So, are we still going to participate in the performance? Of course. Zhang Duopan had already expected this result. He believed that Su Shirhan would come back tomorrow. He just wanted to confirm it with Qing Yi. He wasn't too disappointed. Of course. If we can't get first place, it's because we're not as popular as your senior sister. He was one of the more outstanding third-generation disciples of House Feng, and he was at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class. Back then, the hidden houses had an agreement that Earth-class experts couldn't casually come out into the world. Although it was a rule set by the hidden houses, it was a condition set by the Hidden Houses Arbitration Association. The Grand Elder of the Hidden House was someone who could fight against the ancient sects, and the founder was even more terrifying. Even the ancient sects and ancient houses had to treat him with respect. Although he had already left, the ancient sects still didn't send any Earth-class experts to the common world because of his reputation. But now it was different since the hidden houses had broken the rule and sent out their Earth-class masters without any punishment or restrictions. The Hidden House Association didn't do anything. Chapter 1974. Therefore Feng Tianhu started to think about sending an Earth-rank master out as well. Sometimes Feng Tianhu even wondered if the founder of the Hidden House Association was already dead. Otherwise, why hadn't there been any news for so many years? And not only that, even the Grand Elder had disappeared. Feng Tianhu shook his head and decided not to think about it. He picked up the phone and said, "Sanku, what's up?" "Boss, there's news. Su Shirhan went to Donghai City alone to participate in a private event. Feng Sanhuang won't be following, she's alone." Sanku said. Book Ocean Pavilion Net. "Hey, I got it. Your news is very timely, very good." Feng Tianhu sneered and hung up the phone. He thought to himself, "Second brother, this time I will let you have a taste of losing your own flesh and blood. If I tell this news to second sister-in-law, will she send someone to kill that girl?" Feng Sanhuang, who was beside Su Shirhan, was the same as Feng Sanku, an excellent third-generation disciple of the ancient Feng house. He was also at the peak of the late phase of the mystic class, but he was the follower of the current heir Feng Tianlin, and Su Shirhan was Feng Tianlin's illegitimate daughter. With the help of Feng Tianlin, the young master of an ancient noble house, it was understandable that Su Shirhan's path to stardom was smooth sailing. Ancient noble houses were existences that even hidden noble houses didn't dare to offend. But Feng Tianlin had always thought that he was very secretive, and no one knew that Su Shirhan was his illegitimate daughter. But what he didn't know was that Feng Tianhu had already investigated this matter thoroughly, and not only did Feng Tianhu know, even Feng Tianlin's wife knew. The reason why Feng Tianlin's wife didn't make a move was because Su Shirhan was a girl, and it wouldn't affect her son's succession as the third head of the family. The other reason was because Feng Sanhuang was always by her side. It wasn't impossible for an ancient noble house to send an earth class to the common world, but there was an agreement between the hidden noble houses. She didn't want to go against that agreement just because of Su Shirhan. Sanhuang was a disciple of the Feng family and he knew everyone in the Feng family. At that time, if they sent people to kill Su Shirhan but didn't kill Feng Sanhuang, then Feng Sanhuang would definitely report it to Feng Tianlin. Even Feng Tianlin's wife wouldn't dare to go too far. Book C Pavilion, Net. But this time it was a good opportunity. Feng Tianhu didn't mind causing some trouble for Feng Tianlin. At the same time, he could also deal a blow to Feng Tianlin so that he wouldn't have time to compete with him for the position of the head of the family. Thinking of this, Feng Tianhu got up and walked towards the second branch. The next morning, Lin Yi came out of the space in the jade pendant, feeling refreshed. Chapter 1975. Lin Yi bro, do you know how to cultivate a refinement fire? Han Jingjing asked excitedly as they walked. Book Ocean Pavilion, Net. I don't know, Lin Yi said. Looks like I'll have to go buy a training manual, Han Jingjing said. Buy one? Lin Yi was speechless. Right, I'll ask Mr. Bai later, see if he knows where to buy it. Han Jingjing clenched her fist as if she had just thought of a good idea. When he arrived at the classroom, the students in the class were excitedly discussing the program for the freshman party. Bai Weituo, on the other hand, was excitedly rehearsing with a few minor characters according to the music video on his phone. He looked like he was in full swing. Wang Xinyan, on the other hand, sat in her seat, quietly reading her book as if this had nothing to do with her. She was the same as Lin Yi, acting as an extra in the show, so she didn't need to rehearse. All she had to do was sit in her seat and sing a few harmonies. Lin Yi walked over and sat beside Wang Xinyan while Han Jingjing sat behind them. The only two girls in the class didn't want to be the main character. This made Bai Weituo feel helpless, but there was nothing he could do. One of the girls had an ambiguous relationship with Lin Yi, and the other didn't seem to be interested in Su Shirhan. This made Bai Weituo helpless. Book Ocean Pavilion, Net. Seeing Lin Yi come in, she could only walk over and beg, Lin bro, can you give me one? Give you what? Lin Yi blinked. A beauty. Bai Weituo said. Beauty. Lin Yi looked at Xinyan, then at Han Jingjing. You're letting them act in the show? Lin Yi is so smart, that's right. Bai Weituo nodded. You too, who wants to act? Lin Yi asked. I'll be like you, a cameo. Xinyan said faintly as she flipped through the textbook in her hand. What about you? Lin Yi turned to look at Han Jingjing. However, Han Jingjing did not answer directly. Instead, she turned to look at Bai Weituo and asked, Do you know alchemy? Bai Weituo was surprised. He didn't expect Han Jingjing to bring up this topic. He hesitated for a moment, but he still shook his head and said, I won't. Oh, then forget it. I want to study alchemy. I don't have time. Han Jingjing shook her head and rejected Bai Weituo's suggestion. Book C Pavilion, net. By Wei Tuo sighed. He wanted to say something but in the end he didn't. He smiled bitterly at Lin Yi and continued to lead the students to rehearse. But the good thing was that even if there weren't two girls as the main characters, there was still Su Shirhan, the female lead. So when these guys surrounded her, it was like stars surrounding the moon. It was a different kind of charm. When it was about 8 o'clock, Boss Bai walked into the classroom. Bai Wei Tuo also stopped rehearsing. After seeing Boss Bai, he quickly said, "Professor Bai." In school, Bai Wei Tuo always called Boss Bai Professor Bai or Teacher Bai. You guys are rehearsing? Boss Bai saw the lively scene in the classroom and asked. Yes, Professor Bai. Bai Wei Tuo nodded and said. In that case, we'll cancel the classes in the morning. You guys can continue with your rehearsals. There are no classes today and tomorrow. You guys should strive to get a good ranking for our Faculty of Medicine during the freshmen's evening party tomorrow night. Boss Bai directly made the decision to cancel the class. Our medical major hasn't won an award for several years. It's all because of that little bastard Bai Wei Kai. His ability is too weak. You're not bad. Actually, it's all Brother Lin's credit. Bai Wei Tuo didn't dare to take all the credit and quickly said. Boss Bai looked at Lin Yi deeply and said to him, Lin Yi, after the freshman party, come find me. Have you thought about what I told you before? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. He thought that Boss Bai was going to teach him some special medical skills. But what exactly was this medical skill? At this moment, Lin Yi's view of Boss Bai was completely different. Before, in Lin Yi's opinion, no matter how powerful Boss Bai was, he was just a character similar to Old Man Lin. However, since Lin Yi saw Yu Qiling Tiger's respect for Boss Bai and his respectful and serious attitude in class, it made Lin Yi feel that Boss Bai was really not ordinary. The Hidden Yu family was a big hidden family in alchemy and medicine. Their children were actually studying here so humbly, so how could Boss Bai be ordinary? After listening to Boss Bai's class, Lin Yi also had a refreshing feeling. Many of Boss Bai's theories were different from Old Man Lin's. Although both of them were right, their directions were different, which broadened Lin Yi's thinking a lot and increased his knowledge a lot. Just the basic knowledge was already like this, so what special medical skills would Boss Bai be talking about? Thinking of this, Lin Yi couldn't help but look forward to it. Thinking back to the beginning, Lin Yi didn't take it seriously, but now it seemed that he had underestimated Boss Bai. Okay, after the freshman party, I'll find a time to go and find you. Lin Yi nodded and said. Hearing Lin Yi agree, Boss Bai chuckled and was very happy in his heart. He thought, kid, weren't you not interested in it at the beginning? Now after listening to a few of my classes, you think it's different, right? Although he didn't know why Boss Bai was looking for Lin Yi, after Yu Qiling Tiger heard it, a look of envy and jealousy flashed across his eyes. He had wanted to visit Boss Bai alone for a long time, but he never had the chance. He didn't expect Boss Bai to take the initiative to invite Lin Yi to find him. This made Yu Qiling Tiger think if he should also visit after the freshman party. Boss Bai didn't invite him, but if he went, he couldn't drive him away, right? After Boss Bai finished speaking, he turned around and left, while Bai Wei Tuo continued to rehearse with the students. Yu Qiling Tiger and his two color-haired subordinates didn't perform or cause trouble, so they sat there as ordinary extras like Lin Yi. Bai Wei Tuo knew that these three guys were not sociable, so he didn't deliberately ask them to do anything. In fact, if it weren't for Boss Bai, Yu Qiling Tiger wouldn't even bother to participate. But in Boss Bai's territory, he wanted to learn more knowledge, so he naturally couldn't go too far. If he didn't participate, wouldn't it be disrespecting Boss Bai? Moreover, it wasn't troublesome to act as an extra. All he had to do was sit there and hum a few times to harmonize. It was quite simple. The morning passed quickly and it was time for lunch break. Chapter 1976. Su Shirhan's flight was at 1 p.m., and Lin Yi was going to the airport to pick her up. Lin Yi told Xinyan about it and sent a message to Miss and Shu before driving to the airport. Book Ocean Pavilion, net. It was around 11 p.m. and it would be about time for Lin Yi to reach the airport. Of course, other than Lin Yi's car, there was also a Land Rover Aurora. It was driven by Zhang Duopan and he brought Chung Yi to the airport. At the arrival gate, Lin Yi accidentally saw Zhang Duopan and a girl with sunglasses. Zhang Duopan also saw Lin Yi, and he was even more certain that Su Shirhan was invited by Lin Yi. Because in room 444 only Lin Yi had a car. Although it looked low-key, only he had the ability to do so. Seemed like it was true. Since they saw each other and they had the same goal, Zhang Duopan naturally put on a fake smile and walked over. Isn't this Lin Yi? What's wrong coming to the airport to pick someone up? Lin Yi was confused when he saw Zhang Duopan and he looked at the girl beside him. Lin Yi immediately guessed something. Was this girl the coffee girl, Qing Yi? But Lin Yi didn't follow celebrities and he didn't even know the famous Su Shirhan. How could he know a small celebrity who just debuted? But since she was Su Shirhan's junior, it was normal for her to pick Su Shirhan up. Aren't you asking the obvious? Lin Yi said faintly. What's so great about inviting Su Shirhan? Even if he won, it's not by Wei Tuo's strength. He might not admit it and the bet won't count. Zhang Duopan's face changed. He couldn't beat Su Shirhan in the freshman party, and so Zhang Duopan started to push the blame away. Really? I don't know who broke the rules first and invited a celebrity. If you didn't invite them, we naturally wouldn't have invited them either. Lin Yi looked at Zhang Duopan with a smile that wasn't a smile. This kid really didn't keep his word. Now he was going back on his words. Zhang Duopan was rendered speechless by Lin Yi, but what Lin Yi said was right. Indeed, he invited the celebrity first, so he couldn't say anything. He could only snort and say, since relying on others doesn't count, then everyone doesn't count. It's useless for you to say this to me. You can talk to Himeiwa. Lin Yi said indifferently. Book C Pavilion, net. Whether or not Zhang Duopan went back on his word had nothing to do with Lin Yi. If he wanted to shamelessly go back on his word, then Lin Yi couldn't do anything about it. At most he could let Bai Weituo talk to Himeiwa. Don't think that you invited Su Shirhan. Let me tell you, Su Shirhan will leave with Cheng Yi later. I think you came here for nothing. Zhang Duopan snorted. Lin Yi replied. Seeing that Lin Yi didn't care about him, Zhang Duopan was even angrier. He felt like he was playing the lute to a cow. He snorted and walked towards Cheng Yi, ignoring Lin Yi. After a while, Su Shirhan's flight information was broadcasted. The flight had already landed and there would probably be passengers coming out in a while. Sure enough, not long after, a group of people walked out of the exit. In this group, there was a person wearing a black trench coat, a black cap, oversized sunglasses and an oversized scarf. If it wasn't for the figure, it was hard to tell whether it was a man or a woman. This person was obviously Su Shirhan. She was much more disguised than Cheng Yi, but Su Shirhan was much more famous than Cheng Yi, so her armor was much tighter. Cheng Yi was more familiar with Su Shirhan. She immediately recognized Su Shirhan and waved at her. Han sis. Shirhan also saw Cheng Yi and nodded to her with a smile. Cheng Yi didn't call Su Shirhan by her name. She only called her sister Han, so no one in the airport would think too much about it. Su Shirhan also saw Lin Yi not far away. She was a bit surprised that Lin Yi came to pick her up. She thought that Lin Yi wouldn't come because this guy never came to pick her up. Whether she came to endorse products or to support Lin Yi's products, she came by herself. So this time she didn't think that Lin Yi would come to pick her up. Lin Yi actually came? Su Shirhan was very surprised. And you didn't bring a driver this time, nor did you bring a manager. Of course I came to pick you up. Lin Yi nodded. How rare. Then let's go, I'm staying at Shueshang Hotel. He already booked a room for me. Su Shirhan said. Su Shirhan's words obviously meant that she was going to leave with Lin Yi. This made Zhang Duopan feel a bit embarrassed. He just swore to Lin Yi that he came for nothing, but from the looks of it, Su Shirhan seemed to be very friendly towards Lin Yi. What was the relationship between these two? It didn't seem to be a simple hire. Senior sister, take our car later? Let's go to the hotel directly. We don't need to trouble your friend, right? Cheng Yi saw that Zhang Duopan was unhappy and she didn't mind helping him. This was just a small matter to her. No need, I'll take Lin Yi's car. Su Shirhan smiled and said, see you at the hotel later. That's fine too. Cheng Yi was also slightly dazed. Su Shirhan actually rejected? What was the relationship between her and Lin Yi? Normally, in the company when attending events, Su Shirhan would often ride in the same car as her. Even if they weren't in the same car, Su Shirhan would gladly agree if she invited her. But today Su Shirhan rejected. Seeing that Cheng Yi was rejected, Zhang Duopan's face darkened even more. It seemed that picking her up at the airport was a bit unnecessary. Out of the airport, the two cars went on the highway one after another. Zhang Duopan was unhappy and didn't wait for Lin Yi. He stepped on the gas and the car flew out, speeding all the way back to the hotel. What is the relationship between that Lin Yi and Su Shirhan? Why does he look like a good person? He doesn't even give you face? Zhang Duopan was very unhappy and complained. Maybe they're very good friends. Qing Yi wasn't angry and instead sent a text. The signal here doesn't seem to be very good. There might be a shield near the airport? Zhang Duopan said, you want to use a phone? You can use mine, I have a signal. Thanks, no need. I'll just send a text and tell the people in the company that I've picked up senior sister. Qing Yi waved her hand and said. Chapter 1977. Looks like Su Shirhan really wanted to help them. Now I don't even have the slightest bit of confidence. This is so annoying. Zhang Duopan said. Book C Pavilion Net. There's nothing we can do about it. Sister Han is a big shot. It's good enough that we got second prize. Qing Yi didn't care. Lin Yi didn't care about Zhang Duopan's speed at all. He didn't even chase after him. Instead he drove at a constant speed on the airport highway. Under normal circumstances, Lin Yi wouldn't break the rules if it wasn't something important. Thank you for coming to our classes program despite your busy schedule. Lin Yi said to Su Shirhan. Now I know that your appearance fee isn't low. Qing Yi has connections and she asked for 200,000. You're asking for more than her, right? That's right. Normally I wouldn't go even if they paid me 1 or 2 million. Su Shirhan said. I'm here because of you. It seems like my face is quite big. Lin Yi said. That's right. Do you think I'd go if someone asked me? Not to mention not paying, I wouldn't go even if they paid. Su Shirhan said. Ha. Lin Yi smiled, but his face suddenly changed. The smile on his face turned serious as he said to Shirhan, danger. Don't move. Su Shirhan was startled. She didn't know what Lin Yi was talking about. But at the same time, 2 black Audi A6 dashed through the iron fence in the middle of the road. The iron fence was not far from Lin Yi's car, and the 2 A6 quickly stopped in front of Lin Yi's car. This sudden change made Su Shirhan scream. Lin Yi seemed to be very calm and stopped the car. Behind Lin Yi, 2 Audi A6 drove over, sandwiching Lin Yi's car in the middle. Lin Yi couldn't move forward or backward. The reason why Lin Yi knew there was danger was because of the warning signal from the Jade. So Lin Yi knew in advance that danger was coming. Don't move in the car. Lin Yi looked at one of the 2 Audi A6 and frowned. The other 3 cars didn't matter to him, but the person in this car surprised Lin Yi. A mystic late phase peak. Although to Lin Yi this was nothing. He was already an Earth class master. Mystic class masters were like ants in his eyes. It was easy to stomp them to death. But this wasn't so simple. Who was the one who sent this mystic class late phase peak? Lin Yi didn't think that it was sent by his enemies. Unless they were stupid, they wouldn't send a mystic late phase peak master to die. Last time there were 3 Earth class masters and one of them was a late phase Earth class master, but Lin Yi burned them to ashes. Would they dare to send a mystic? That wasn't realistic. Book C Pavilion Net. But if it wasn't sent by them, then who sent it? Could it be a robbery? But robbery? He hadn't heard of a robbery on the highway at the airport. And Lin Yi's car was very low key. It was a Grand Cherokee. It didn't blink. Lin Yi clearly saw a Rolls-Royce drive by, but he didn't see them rob it. And if it was just a simple robbery, wouldn't it be too wasteful to send a mystic late phase peak master? But all these guesses were pointless. After Lin Yi told Su Shirhan, he got out of the car. The mystic late phase peak master didn't move. Instead, 3 men in black suits got out of the other 3 cars. They pointed their guns at Lin Yi. Kid, tell the people in the car to get out. Otherwise, don't blame us for shooting you. People in the car? Lin Yi was startled. Were these people trying to kidnap Su Shirhan? It didn't seem like they were targeting him. Otherwise, no matter how powerful an enemy was, they wouldn't send 3 normal people with guns to aim at an Earth-class master unless they were crazy. Shut up and do it. A man in black scolded. You're here for Su Shirhan? Who sent you? Tell me and I won't kill you. Lin Yi looked at the man in black and said indifferently. Kid, you want to kill us? The man in black thought that he had misheard and immediately laughed loudly. You mean you can kill us? Is that so? Yes, since you missed the chance, there's no need to say any more. Lin Yi's hand shook and a silver needle shot out, sinking into the man's chest. The man didn't even make a sound before falling to the ground. Lin Yi didn't even need to use pure qi to kill the man in black because he was just a normal person. At most, he was a cultivator who had just stepped into the door of martial arts. He wasn't even a golden class master. The other two people sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't think that this person would do it without any hesitation. The scariest thing was that they didn't see it clearly. They didn't know how Lin Yi killed the man in black. Who are you? One of the two men in black asked. It's your turn. Who sent you? Lin Yi asked. Who are you? Why are you here? The man in black asked nervously. You've also lost your value. Lin Yi shook his wrist and the second man in black fell to the ground. You. The third man in black was stunned. He still did not know how his two companions died, so he subconsciously stuttered a little. After saying the word you a few times, he hurriedly looked at the Audi A6 beside him and said, Brother Sam, there's something wrong, please save me quickly. Actually, there was no need for the third man to speak. The man in black in the Audi A6 couldn't sit still anymore. He opened the door and got out of the car. It was a man wearing a black mask. The three people before didn't have their faces covered. Only a pair of cold eyes could be seen. He looked at Lin Yi coldly and said condescendingly, It seems that he values Miss Su quite a bit. He also sent a driver here. But your strength isn't enough. Although you have flying needles, you haven't cultivated pure qi yet. You can't use the natural qi around you. It seems that you're not a cultivator. Who sent you here? My patience is limited. Lin Yi said indifferently. Although Lin Yi wasn't afraid of trouble, it was obvious that this was the airport highway. There were a lot of cars coming and going. Lin Yi was afraid that Su Shirhan's identity would be exposed. So Lin Yi wanted to end this quickly. Chapter 1978. This palm was very casual. In his eyes, this palm could easily kill Lin Yi, but he didn't expect that Lin Yi also pushed out a palm as if he wanted to take this attack head-on. Moreover, Lin Yi's expression was like a smile that wasn't a smile, as if he wasn't afraid of this palm at all. Although the man in black was a bit confused, he didn't think too much about it. He naturally knew that this was a main road. Although he was from an ancient noble house and wasn't afraid of ordinary people, some things couldn't be overdone. After all, there was an ancient agreement. Bang! The two palms collided and a muffled sound was heard. This sound made the black-clothed man relax, because he couldn't feel much power from Lin Yi at all. It seemed that Lin Yi was just a normal person. He had thought too much. However, in the next moment the black-clothed man was stunned. Because from Lin Yi's palm, a huge wave of qi suddenly came, instantly entering his meridians. In an instant, he felt as if a wave of qi that could topple mountains and overturn the seas surged over, breaking all the meridians in the black-clothed man's body. You're an early-stage earth class. The man in black widened his eyes in disbelief. He didn't think that there would be an earth class besides Su Shirhan. Could it be that Feng Tianlin really valued Su Shirhan that much? Thinking up to here, Feng Sanlei suddenly felt a little sad. He was the subordinate of Feng Tianlin's wife. The reason he came here was to secretly kill Su Shirhan. This time he got the news from the third son of Feng family, Feng Tianhu. He thought that without Feng Sanhuang, Feng Sanlei could easily kill Su Shirhan, but Feng Sanlei smiled bitterly in his heart. He wanted to spread the news that there was a master beside Su Shirhan, but he knew that it was just wishful thinking. In front of an earth-class master, running away was just wishful thinking. Plus, if he was caught by Lin Yi and if he were to be interrogated, then the situation would be unbearable. Thinking up to here, Feng Sanlei suddenly had a sudden burst of energy. He used all the strength in his body and slapped towards the remaining man in black, easily killing him. Then he waved his hand and slapped towards his own face. Bang! The masked man's head was smashed by himself. His brain was broken beyond recognition and his entire head had exploded. It was very disgusting. Lin Yi was secretly on guard. He was afraid that he would harm Su Shirhan at the last moment, but he didn't think that this guy would kill his own people and then commit suicide. This kind of strange situation caught Lin Yi off guard. Originally, Lin Yi didn't kill him. Instead, he injured him to bring him back and interrogate him. He wanted to know who sent this guy. But this masked man was very decisive. He killed the only survivor of his own group and then committed suicide. It was a very cruel way to commit suicide. Looking at the mask of the masked man, and then looking at his broken head, Lin Yi vaguely guessed his purpose. He masked his face, which meant that he didn't want anyone to see or recognize him. He committed suicide in this way to destroy his own head so that no one would be able to recognize him. This person was very loyal. As for the other small fries who weren't practitioners, they probably weren't important people. He wouldn't be able to find anything from their faces. Thinking of this, Lin Yi couldn't help but sigh. It seemed that he was a bit careless. He only thought about Su Shirhan's safety. He didn't think that the masked man would commit suicide. But it was already like this. Lin Yi couldn't do anything. Although it happened very fast, almost 2 to 3 minutes, Lin Yi saw the cars coming from behind and behind. He didn't dare to delay anymore. He ran to the 2 Audi A6 in front of the car and slapped them to the side of the road. Then he quickly jumped into the Grand Cherokee and stepped on the accelerator. Su Shirhan's face was very pale. Although she was in the car, she heard everything that happened outside. She also knew that these 4 people came for her. But who sent these 4 people? What was their purpose? Although Su Shirhan had experienced similar kidnappings before, it wasn't as thrilling as this. The criminals' plans were all killed in the cradle by the police, and the people she faced weren't as vicious as this. In the end, they chose to commit suicide in such a cruel way. You're not scared, right? Lin Yi, on the other hand, had been through too many dangerous situations. What happened just now wasn't dangerous at all in his eyes. He'd even been stopped by the Blood-Cloth Yellow Springs sect before, and he'd even been beaten by 3 Earth-class Book C Pavilion V equals. Therefore, what happened just now seemed too ordinary. It's okay. Su Shirhan patted her chest. Her chest rose and fell, but it betrayed her true thoughts. She was indeed very nervous. Who did you offend recently? Lin Yi asked. These people are obviously coming for you. I offended anyone? I don't think so. Su Shirhan shook her head. If you want to talk about a sinner, it would be Dr. Kang's medical company. Last time I attended your product launch. Other than that, I didn't offend anyone. Kang family, impossible. Lin Yi denied this possibility. If they want to find someone, they should be looking for me. Plus, they wouldn't send such a weak person. Then I really can't think of who I offended. Su Shirhan seriously thought about it. Forget it, don't think about it. Give me that Feng Sanhuang's number. Lin Yi said. Feng Sanhuang? Why do you want his number? Su Shirhan was dazed. He's your driver. He follows you everywhere you go. I'll ask him to help me think. Lin Yi didn't say much to Su Shirhan. Intuition told Lin Yi that Feng Sanhuang should be the person protecting Su Shirhan. The masked man also said that he didn't think that there would be someone protecting Su Shirhan here. In other words, Su Shirhan also had someone protecting her over there. The only possibility was Feng Sanhuang. So Lin Yi planned to tell this to Feng Sanhuang. He wanted him to investigate and see if Su Shirhan had offended anyone. Oh, okay. Su Shirhan didn't think much about it. She nodded and told Lin Yi Feng Sanhuang's number. Lin Yi wrote down the number. He didn't call in front of Su Shirhan. Instead, he called Yang Huijuan. Captain Eagle, are you looking for me? Huijuan picked up the phone. What surprised Lin Yi was that Zhang Duopan wasn't in room 1108. Instead, he got a room in room 1105. Obviously, Qing Yi didn't want him in her room. If she wanted to talk, she would go to his room 1105. But Zhang Duopan was rich, so he didn't mind. You go in, I won't go. I'll wait for you outside. Lin Yi saw this and didn't follow. Okay. Su Shirhan also knew Qing Yi's temper. Her room was usually only used by a few close sisters in the company and her manager. There was no one else. Lin Yi glanced at Zhang Duopan in the opposite room. The kid was on the phone. He didn't care about him. He turned and walked to the safe passage at the end of the corridor and called Feng Sanhuang. Oh, who are you looking for? Feng Sanhuang looked at the unfamiliar number and asked politely. Feng Sanhuang? Lin Yi asked. It's me you are. Feng Sanhuang was secretly on guard. This person knew his name, but he still didn't know his identity. This person was definitely someone he wasn't familiar with, and it was impossible that Feng Sanhuang didn't have the phone number of someone he was familiar with, and it was impossible that he couldn't recognize his voice. Su Shirhan's bodyguard? Lin Yi continued to ask. Who are you? Feng Sanhuang was even more shocked. No one knew that he was Su Shirhan's bodyguard. Even Su Shirhan herself didn't know about it. So when Lin Yi revealed his identity, he panicked a little. It seems like my guess was right, Lin Yi said. I'm Lin Yi. Earlier at the airport there was a mystic class late phase peak who attacked us. I crippled him. I wanted to bring him back for interrogation, but he committed suicide. The way he did it was very disgusting. As he spoke, Lin Yi told Feng Sanhuang what happened. Feng Sanhuang was relieved when he heard that it was Lin Yi. Lin Yi saw through his strength and knew that he was Su Shirhan's bodyguard. But what shocked him was that there was someone who intercepted Su Shirhan. And in this period of time Lin Yi seemed to have gotten even stronger. He could easily cripple a mystic class late phase peak. The last time he saw him he was weaker than him. He wasn't even at the peak of mystic class late phase peak. But now, I didn't expect this. Brother Lin, thank you so much. Feng Sanhuang said gratefully. My flight tonight is to Donghai City. Please take care of Miss Su's safety. Please. When Feng Sanhuang knew that Su Shirhan was coming to East Ocean City on his own, he booked a plane ticket with her. However, he was still one flight behind Su Shirhan. Su Shirhan's flight was at noon and he was going to take the night flight. He didn't expect that something would happen in such a short time. He was sent by Feng Tianlin to protect Su Shirhan. If Su, book Ocean Pavilion soonest update f equals, if something happened to Shirhan, even if Feng Sanhuang died he wouldn't be able to escape the blame. So he called Lin Yi brother Lin. Of course this was also because of Lin Yi's increase in strength. To be able to cripple a mystic class late phase peak meant that Lin Yi was at least at the peak of mystic class late phase peak. You're coming too? That's great. You can go investigate these people's background. Lin Yi said. As for Su Shirhan's safety you don't need to worry. With me by her side nothing will happen. Alright, thanks for the trouble. Feng Sanhuang said respectfully again. Target equals undefined. Chapter 1980. Then I'll hang up first. Book C Pavilion. Lin Yi listened to Feng Sanhuang's pleading tone. He had no doubt that he was the one protecting Su Shirhan in the dark. But which force did he belong to? Why was he protecting Su Shirhan? What was Su Shirhan's identity? Of course this had nothing to do with Lin Yi and Lin Yi didn't want to know at the moment. He and Su Shirhan could only be considered as good friends at the moment. It wasn't convenient for him to ask. Not long after Lin Yi hung up, Su Shirhan also came out. She came out with Cheng Yi. Lin Yi, let's go to school to rehearse. Don't waste time. Yi is going too. Su Shirhan waved to Lin Yi. Okay. Lin Yi walked over quickly. Zhang Duopan also came out of his room at this time. He didn't expect to see Fan Ganhe in his room. He just came. Lin Yi didn't see him before. Zhang Duopan was a bit annoyed when he saw Lin Yi, but Fan Ganhe was even more annoyed. He liked Wang Xinyan. Naturally he wouldn't give Lin Yi any face. From Fan Ganhe's point of view, Lin Yi was the typical type of bastard who stood in the toilet but didn't shit. He always said that he had nothing to do with Wang Xinyan, but when they went out they were still very close. Isn't this Lin Yi? Why didn't you bring Wang Xinyan? Could it be that you want to be alone with the superstar and don't want anyone else? Fan Ganhe saw Lin Yi and wanted to say something sarcastic. Oh. Lin Yi responded. He didn't even look at him. Fuck. Fan Ganhe was infuriated. This was blatant disregard. Quarrel with people. He wasn't afraid of people scolding him back. He was afraid that people wouldn't even care about him and his efforts would be in vain. He wanted to say something but Lin Yi and Su Shirhan were already walking towards the elevator. Fan Ganhe gritted his teeth but it was useless. Whatever Ganhe, there will be plenty of opportunities to deal with this kid. I plan to invite He Meiyue and her roommates to Tiger Park this weekend. We'll think of a way to humiliate them. Zhang Duopan sneered. He had no chance of winning at the freshman party, but he didn't plan to give up on He Meiyue, so he had to proceed to the next step. Hey, listen to Brother Zhang. When the time comes, think of a way to teach them a lesson. Fan Ganhe nodded. In the teaching building of the biology department, in the classroom of the medicine department, the students were rehearsing the actions in the music video in full swing. And Yi walked in with Su Shirhan. Shirhan Su Shirhan Zhou Shan. Up Shirhan. Seeing how serious everyone was, Su Shirhan was a little surprised. She originally thought that it would be very difficult to bring a group of non-professional students to recreate the scene of the music video, but now it seemed that a lot of people were already doing it well. Huh. Bai Weituo also felt someone coming, but he didn't pay attention. He raised his head and saw a fully armed girl next to Lin Yi. Who? Su Shihan? He paused for a moment but immediately guessed what was going on. Hello everyone. Shihan smiled and waved at Bai Weituo when she saw that someone recognized her. Hearing this heavenly voice, all the boys who were rehearsing stopped what they were doing. When they saw the person at the door, they couldn't help but widen their eyes. Someone cheered, Su Shihan is here. Su Shihan is here, it's really Su Shihan. Su Shihan, I love you so much, Lin Yi sweated. He quickly locked the classroom door. If the other students found out, they wouldn't need to rehearse anymore. They'd all come to see the celebrity. Everyone quiet down. You guys are so loud. The students from the other classes would probably hear it. At that time, I'm afraid we won't be able to rehearse anymore. Shihan smiled and made a shushing gesture. Needless to say, the power of a celebrity was not just for show. Just one gesture and the noisy classroom quieted down. Su Shihan, hello, I'm the class leader of the medical course, Bai Weituo. I'm also Brother Lin's follower. Bai Weituo ran in front of Shihan and introduced himself. Hello. Since you're the class leader, tell me, how's your rehearsal going? In order to save time, I'll see your progress first and then decide on the next step, okay? Shihan heard that Bai Weituo was Lin Yi's follower, so her attitude towards him was very gentle, which made Bai Weituo feel very flattered. Shihan didn't have the air of a celebrity at all. This surprised all the students. They didn't expect Lin Yi to be so powerful. Not only did he invite Shihan, but she was also very polite and kind. Even Right Coiling Tiger was very jealous. He cursed in his heart. What kind of ability did this Lin Yi have to make Shihan look at him in a different light? Okay, I'll tell you now. Bai Weituo quickly nodded. Lin Yi didn't listen to Bai Weituo's introduction anymore. He went back to his seat. The rehearsal had nothing to do with him anymore. Lin Yi didn't care. You don't follow celebrities? Lin Yi looked at Wang Xinyan in surprise. He realized that every time he saw her, she was always so quiet. Quiet like a pool of water without any emotion. From the moment Lin Yi entered the classroom, Wang Xinyan had been flipping through the textbook in front of her. When Lin Yi sat down, she only raised her head and smiled at Lin Yi. Then she continued reading. I like her songs, most of the songs in my MP3 are her songs. But Idols Xinyan shook her head, a little regretful. I want to, but I don't have that much time to waste. I want to enjoy my university life as much as I can with the limited time I have. Limited time? Lin Yi was startled. He remembered the engagement between her and Zhao Long. He opened his mouth to say something but closed it again. What identity should he use to make Wang Xinyan reject the engagement with House Kong? There are some things that you can't fight against. When you can't fight against it, you can only accept your fate. Wang Xinyan's expression seemed calm, but Lin Yi knew that not many people would be calm in this kind of situation. But Lin Yi didn't know what to say. He could only take it one step at a time. If he could destroy House Kong as soon as possible, Wang Xinyan would be able to relax a lot. What surprised Lin Yi was that Han Jingjing was also lying on the table studying something. She was writing and drawing on the notebook in front of her. There were a lot of numbers and formulas. It made Lin Yi dizzy. To be continued. If you like this work, I welcome you to come to Starting Point and vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1981. This girl can't be an alien, right? How can her thoughts be so weird? Lin Yi shook his head and didn't bother with her. Lin Yi was afraid that if he asked a random question, it would attract more questions. Wouldn't that be asking for trouble? Zhang Duopan was from the economics department. At this moment his class was also busy rehearsing. But Zhang Duopan wasn't in a good mood. In comparison, his classmates were quite happy. Although they couldn't perform with a top star like Su Shihan, Qingyi was still a rising star. Even if they couldn't get first place, getting second place was already quite an honor. Many classes wanted to get into the top 10 but couldn't. Because they didn't have a bet with Zhang Duopan, they were more relaxed. On the other hand, Zhang Duopan was depressed. He originally wanted to play a supporting role, but he didn't want to anymore. Going up was equivalent to embarrassing himself. It was better to be an inconspicuous cameo. Fan Ganha didn't participate in his class's program. He was Zhang Duopan's follower, so naturally he would follow Zhang Duopan. Zhang bro, how about tonight I find a gunny sack and put it on Bai Weitu's head? We'll beat him until he can't take care of himself. That way he won't go on stage and the program won't be his anymore. Doesn't that mean we'll win? Fan Ganha suggested. What do you mean by can't take care of himself? Are you stupid? If he gets beaten up, the first suspects will be us. When the school investigates, we won't be able to escape punishment. We have to think before we do things. Zhang Duopan wasn't stupid. He directly rejected Fan Ganha's suggestion. Bai Weitua is a freshman. He just came to the school. If there's a conflict, it's with us. Do you think everyone else is stupid? Fan Ganha really couldn't think of any other way to win the competition. Don't think about the competition. A loss is a loss. Zhang Duopan had already accepted it and didn't want to think about it anymore. An afternoon of rehearsal passed just like that, and at night, Qingyi asked Su Shirhan to go shopping. It was the first time for both of them to come to East Ocean City, and they hadn't shopped in East Ocean City yet. Su Shirhan didn't want to go after all, something terrible had just happened. However, she didn't want to tell Qingyi, so she hesitated and decided to ask Lin Yi. When Lin Yi received Su Shirhan's call, he had just sent Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao back and entered the villa with Miss and Shu. Miss Su, what's the matter? Lin Yi saw that it was Su Shirhan's call and picked it up. How many times have I told you call me Xiao Han or Su Shirhan? Isn't calling me Miss Su too distant? Su Shirhan didn't like the way Lin Yi addressed her. Ah, okay Xiao Han, Lin Yi said. The middle-aged woman asked. That's right. I've already sent Feng Erbing. Even if San Huang goes, it'll be a waste. It'll only take a few minutes to kill him, Feng Tianhu said indifferently. Feng Erbing? Earth class mid-phase? You can use a second-generation disciple of House Feng? The middle-aged woman widened her eyes in disbelief. Ah, who doesn't have a trump card? Not only me, second brother probably has one too. Feng Tianhu sighed. If it wasn't to help you this time, I wouldn't want to reveal my trump card so early. You have to keep it a secret for me. Chapter 1982. That's not a problem. The middle-aged woman didn't even think about it. In her eyes, fighting in the family wasn't important. Killing Feng Tianlin's mistress and little bastard was the most important thing. One had to say that Feng Tianlin's failure was marrying such a brainless and unruly woman. Although he had the support of her family, she didn't help him wholeheartedly and kept creating trouble for him. For someone like Feng Tianlin, who was the heir of an ancient house, who didn't have multiple wives and concubines. But his first love's flesh and blood had to be sneaky and he couldn't even see her. This made Feng Tianlin very frustrated. He was a little envious of his big brother's choice back then. He didn't care about anything and just ran away from the marriage and married a woman from the common world, cutting off all ties with the ancient house Feng. He, on the other hand, didn't want to disappoint his father, and for his big brother's safety, he married this woman who was supposed to be his big brother's fiancée. What Feng Tianlin didn't expect was that this woman was really unruly, willful, and jealous. He didn't know where she got the news that he had a mistress and a daughter outside, but she actually brought people to kill him. His wife was nowhere to be found, and his daughter was only found many years later after much effort. Feng Tianlin hated his wife to the core. Although she was his wife, he didn't have any feelings for her. He still loved his first love, Su Shirhan's mother. Feng Tianlin knew that his wife had gone to kill him, but he didn't do anything. Instead, he chose to endure it because he knew that this was most likely caused by his third brother Feng Tianhu. Feng Tianhu had always coveted the position of the young master. Otherwise, it would be impossible for such detailed information to be known by only a few close brothers. However, as Feng Tianhu's son, Feng Nidian, gradually revealed his talent, the old man placed more and more importance on Feng Tianhu. Feng Tianhu's power in House Feng was also growing, and this made Feng Tianlin even more cautious. He could only continue to endure until the day he truly controlled House Feng. At that time, he wouldn't be afraid of anyone anymore. Considering the many years of marriage and the face of their son, Feng Tianlin wouldn't do anything to his wife, but he definitely wouldn't force a smile to serve her every day like now. The first thing Feng Tianlin had to do after he became the head of the family was to bring his daughter back and announce to the public that she was his daughter. Moreover, he would find his older brother and bring him back to the Feng family. Although his older brother had been kicked out of the family by his father, a new ruler brought his own ministers. His father was the head of the family and now he, Feng Tianlin, was the head of the family. Feng Tianlin's relationship with his older brother was the best. Although they didn't share the same mother, they were closer than real brothers. This was also one of the important reasons why Feng Tianlin married his current wife in place of his older brother. If he didn't marry her, his father would blame his eldest brother even more and might even kill him. And this was what Feng Tianhu hoped for. He hoped that this marriage would be broken, and that his father would kill his older brother while his second brother would plead for mercy. This way both of them would lose trust and both of them would be finished. His third brother would naturally take over. So for his older brother, in order to prevent his third brother's plan from succeeding, Feng Tianlin gritted his teeth and persevered for so many years. However, Feng Tianhu, because of his son Feng Midian, seemed to be on the same level as him. This made Feng Tianlin's life more and more difficult. But not long ago Feng Tianlin received a great news. Feng Tianhu's son Feng Tianhu was acting tough during the Ice Palace's test. He used his title of strongest below Earth class and was beaten into a cripple by an even stronger strongest below Earth class. Feng Tianlin knew that his chance had come again. Although to House Feng Nitian's death wasn't a good thing, to Feng Tianlin, it was a good thing. However, Feng Tianlin didn't know that his wife was working with Feng Tianhu to deal with Su Shihan. So when Feng Tianlin received Feng Sanhuang's call, he was shocked. What did you say? Someone was on the airport highway trying to deal with Shihan? Feng Tianlin panicked. Yes, master, but Miss Su's friend took care of it. It's a mystic late phase peak, master. Sanhuang told Feng Tianlin everything that had happened. What? Mystic late phase peak? Feng Tianlin was even more shocked. This was the first time that Su Shihan was attacked by such a powerful cultivator. Although there were kidnappings and robberies in the past, those were only done by some small gangs. This time it was obviously not that simple. Plus, these men in black chose to commit suicide in such a cruel way after they failed. They obviously didn't want to expose their identity. Who sent them? Could it be his wife? Or his third brother? Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin's heart skipped a beat. Su Shihan's identity was a secret. Although he found Su Shihan, he never acknowledged her. How did his wife and brother know about it? Do you know who did it? Feng Tianlin asked. I'm not sure yet. I just arrived at Donghai City. I heard that the bodies were taken away by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. I need to find someone I know. I don't know if they can see it. Feng Sanhuang said. Although the ancient noble houses had absolute power, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau might not give them face. It was a complicated organization. If there's no other way, forget it. Feng Tianlin wanted to say something but shook his head. In this situation he couldn't contact that person before he had a firm foothold. If he did, it would be against the family rules. Feng Tianhu would be looking for trouble. Okay, master, I'll try my best, Feng Sanhuang said. When Lin Yi arrived at the hotel, Feng Sanhuang was there as well. He was driving a Buick GL8. Seeing Lin Yi, Feng Sanhuang jumped out. Brother Lin, thank you for today. Feng Sanhuang actually bowed to Lin Yi this time. Lin Yi paused. He felt that Sanhuang's words had exceeded a normal bodyguard's. Even if he was Su Shihan's bodyguard, he didn't need to go through all this formalities. Mr. Feng, Lil Han came to my place and it's my duty to protect her. There's no need to thank me, but I see that you seem to care a lot about Su Shihan? You like her? He only needed to look at the GPS to know how to get there. He started the car and went straight to the busiest commercial street in Donghai City. On the way, Su Shihan and Qing Yi were discussing something. But Lin Yi wasn't interested in listening. It was mostly about how to make up, how to be beautiful, and how to have a good body. After a few turns, Feng Sanhuang arrived at the commercial street and parked the car in the parking lot nearby. I didn't expect Donghai City's commercial street to be so busy this late. Su Shihan looked at the street outside the car window and said in surprise. Donghai City is a provincial city. Naturally, there are a lot of shops that are open 24 hours. Lin Yi said. Thank you, Lin Yi. It's so late, but you came out to shop with us. Sorry for disturbing your rest. Su Shihan said gratefully. Qing Yi frowned. It was a great honor for a normal person to be able to come out with a big star. Zhang Duopan wanted to come along but she rejected him. Why was Su Shihan begging Lin Yi? It's okay. Lin Yi and Feng Sanhuang walked behind Su Shihan and Qing Yi, as if they were their bodyguards. Su Shihan probably didn't have many opportunities to go shopping. Everything she saw was new. Lin Yi couldn't help but sigh. Although celebrities seemed to be famous, they didn't have much time. Every day they just had to work and work. Qing Yi, on the other hand, had a lot of knowledge about brands and shops. She was the one who brought Su Shihan to shop. Feng Sanhuang, on the other hand, was very nervous. He was always on guard. His eyes kept looking around as if he was afraid of missing something. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry at his seriousness. I say, Sanhuang, you don't have to be like this, right? Relax a bit. Otherwise, I'm afraid that Xiaohan will be fine, but you'll be so nervous. Brother Lin, I have to kill the danger in the cradle. Feng Sanhuang smiled bitterly. I'm different from you. I have to ensure Miss Su's safety. Especially after what happened today. It's okay. I'll watch for you. I'll tell you if there's any danger. Lin Yi said. Although Lin Yi said that, Feng Sanhuang saw that Lin Yi didn't seem to be on guard at all times. So he didn't relax at all. From his point of view, Lin Yi was an outsider. No matter what, he wouldn't be very careful. Feng Sanhuang was different. Lin Yi looked at Feng Sanhuang and shrugged. He didn't say anything. Along the way, the four of them went to most of the shops on the street. Shihan seemed to be especially addicted to shopping, including the shops that sold mobile cases, small accessories. She would go to all of them, even buying one or two small things before leaving reluctantly. This situation made Lin Yi sigh. Miss Su's work is actually very busy. Book Ocean Pavilion. She's a very hardworking person. She hasn't followed any unspoken rules. Her current results are all from her own efforts. Although I've helped her along the way, it's also related to her own purity. If she wants to abandon herself to vice, I can't do anything about it. Feng Sanhuang saw Lin Yi sigh. He knew what Lin Yi was thinking. He explained. Plus, she used to have headaches that could act up at any time. That's why she didn't have the chance to go shopping. Luckily you helped her. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't answer. He also felt that something was wrong. Lin Yi had been laughing at Sanhuang earlier, telling him not to be so careful, but now he felt as if he was being followed and watched. It was a feeling that came from the sixth sense he had when he was doing missions in the primeval forest. Book C Pavilion. Target equals Chapter 1984. Book C Pavilion. Because the jade didn't give any warning, it meant that either he was wrong, or the enemy was too far away, out of the jade's detection range. But Lin Yi was leaning towards the first possibility, because Lin Yi wouldn't be wrong about this feeling. Lin Yi took a deep breath and started to be on high alert. But for the rest of the journey, this feeling was very faint, and the jade didn't give any warning. This feeling made Lin Yi very doubtful. Was there someone following him, or did they intend to harm him? After that, Lin Yi still couldn't find the person following him. Either this person was an absolute master and could follow him from a distance, or he was too vigilant because of what happened during the day. There's beef noodles here too? Qing Yi pointed at the signboard of an alley next to the pedestrian street. What you like to eat this? Su Shihan asked curiously. Yeah, I've liked to eat it since I was young. It's been a long time since I've had it. Qing Yi said. No, I must go eat it today. Oh right, I forgot, your hometown seems to have this kind of noodles. Su Shihan nodded. Since we're here, let's go eat a bowl? Okay. Qing Yi nodded and said excitedly. But the alley looks dirty and there's no one around. Can we eat this? Su Shihan walked 2 steps and looked at the dark alley full of trash. She was a little hesitant. It's okay, I used to eat it when I was young. Qing Yi said. Okay, then let's go try. Su Shihan hesitated and decided to accompany her. Seeing the two of them going into the alley, Lin Yi instinctively felt that something was wrong, but he didn't know how to stop them. While he was hesitating, Su Shihan and Qing Yi had already walked into the alley. Lin Yi had no choice but to follow with Feng Sanhuang. Feng Sanhuang's expression became more cautious and vigilant. He wanted to dissuade her. Su Shihan Book C Pavilion. Why did they have to come to this kind of place? There were clearly a lot of snacks there, but they just had to eat noodles. However, this idea was suggested by Qing Yi, And Feng Sanhuang wasn't her driver or bodyguard, so he couldn't say anything. The alleyway was very dark, there was no one and no light, there was a kind of eerie feeling. Su Shihan was a little nervous. After all, this kind of eerie and dark scene reminded her of some bad memories. Su Shihan subconsciously frowned and used both hands to press on her temples. Sister Han, what's wrong? Qing Yi saw Su Shihan's nervous face and quickly asked, is your headache acting up again? And Shihan nodded and quickly took out a bottle of Miracle Dr. Guan painkiller from her bag and poured it into the bottle. Medium, Qing Yi rubbed Su Shihan's temples and said with concern, Han sis, why don't we stop eating, let's go back. Since you're here, let's go eat, don't spoil the mood. Su Shihan forced a smile, it's fine, don't worry about me. But Qing Yi looked at Su Shihan's frowning face, still a little worried. However, as the two were arguing, Lin Yi sneered, since you're here then come out, what's the point of hiding? Is this the behavior of an Earth-class mid-phase master? What? There's an enemy? Feng Sanhuang heard Lin Yi's words and jumped. Su Shihan and Qing Yi were shocked as well. Two men in black came out from the darkness in front of the alleyway, but their faces were still covered with black masks, so people couldn't see their faces clearly. You're not simple. You can actually sense my presence and you can even say my strength. Friend, which path are you on? I advise you not to get involved in this mess. It's none of your business here. One of the men in black was obviously afraid of Lin Yi, which was why he said these words. Of course, he was planning to ambush Lin Yi, but Lin Yi was able to see through his whereabouts. He was quite angry at Lin Yi, but he had other important things to do today and he couldn't see through Lin Yi's strength, so he didn't want to cause more trouble. Moreover, he naturally wouldn't think that Lin Yi was tricking him to come out. After all, if Lin Yi could say his strength, it meant that he had already been discovered. In actuality, Lin Yi really didn't find any traces of this Earth-class mid-phase black-clothed man. It was through the jade that he found the movements of the other black-clothed man, a mystic late-phase peak master. Through this person, Lin Yi caught a faint trace of energy beside him, and that was how he found the black-clothed man. Why would I stand here if it's none of my business? Lin Yi looked at the man in black like he was looking at an idiot. If it's none of my business, why would I find your traces and say your strength? Do you think I have nothing better to do? You go deal with Su Shihan, I'll take care of this. The Earth-class man's face turned cold and he ordered the mystic next to him. Yes. The black-clothed man nodded and flew towards Shihan, throwing a punch at her. Obviously he wanted to kill Shihan with one punch. Lin Yi had been observing the reactions of these two, and when he saw the movements of the black-clothed man, he sneered and his side also started to move. He used a bit of force in his legs and flew towards the mystic next to Su Shihan. In order to confuse the mystic in front of him, Lin Yi had been suppressing his strength, making it seem like he was only a mystic class mid-phase peak. The purpose of this was to kill the mystic class late-phase peak in one hit, and then he could focus on dealing with the Earth class mid-phase master. Lin Yi didn't have the slightest confidence in winning against someone 2 levels higher than him, and he was a bit nervous, so he had to kill all the uncertain factors in the cradle. Chapter 1985. Book C Pavilion Chapter 1997. Who will be the winner? As for the other 3 Earth-class warriors, Lin Yi used his fire poison chi to burn them to ashes. But this move could only be used once, it was impossible to use it a second time. The only thing Lin Yi could rely on now was the first 3 moves of the Frenzy Fist. He didn't know if it would be enough to fight against this Earth-class mid-phase man. Humph. The mystic late-phase peak looked at Lin Yi coldly. When he saw that Lin Yi was only a mystic mid-phase peak master, a trace of disdain appeared on his face. Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish. As he said that, his target changed from Su Shihan to Lin Yi. He raised his palms slightly as if waiting for Lin Yi to attack. It wasn't that he was arrogant, but in his eyes, Lin Yi was only a mystic mid-phase peak master and he was a mystic late-phase peak master. The two of them were 2 whole levels apart. If he couldn't kill Lin Yi like that, then it would be strange. So the mystic class man in black looked at Lin Yi with pity in his eyes. In his eyes, Lin Yi was already a dead man. However, Lin Yi didn't seem to notice the danger at all. He still rushed towards the mystic. Not good. The Earth class man's heart skipped a beat. He yelled at the mystic, "Careful. Don't fight him head-on. The Earth-class man felt that Lin Yi was a mystic mid-phase peak master, so he didn't put him in his eyes at first. But he suddenly thought that something wasn't right. If Lin Yi could tell that he was an Earth-class mid-phase master, then how could he not see that the mystic was a mystic late-phase peak master? If that was the case, then Lin Yi, a mystic mid-phase peak master, going to fight a mystic late-phase master head-on, wasn't there something wrong with his head? Either that or he was courting death. More importantly, how did Feng Sanlei die? Feng Sanhuang hadn't arrived at East Ocean City at that time. Even if he had arrived at East Ocean City, it wouldn't have been easy to kill Feng Sanlei. They were all disciples of the Feng family. What Feng Sanhuang knew, Feng Sanlei also knew. In this kind of situation, it was the most difficult to determine the winner and loser. Even if they couldn't win, staying alive was not a problem. And if Feng Sanlei could fall here, then Su Shihan must have a master beside her. However, since that expert wasn't Feng Sanhuang, the only one left was Lin Yi. Su Shihan and Qing Yi couldn't be that powerful. So when he realized that something was wrong, the man in black immediately warned the man in black. However, he was too slow. The man in black still needed some time to react after hearing his words. At this time, Lin Yi's palm was already pressed on the man's palm. Too late. Lin Yi shouted coldly. With a loud bang, the man in black's body flew out like an arrow. After flying in the air for some distance, he crashed into the wall of the alley not far away. Book Ocean Pavilion. It was no longer a problem for him to fight to the death. But since Lin Yi saw through his thoughts, naturally he wouldn't let it happen. That's fine. Feng Sanhuang didn't want to be a deserter, but he knew that the difference in strength between him and his opponent was too big. Staying here was equivalent to being a hindrance to Lin Yi, and Lin Yi had to split his attention to take care of him and Su Shihan. There was no way he could win. So Feng Sanhuang only hesitated for a moment before quickly pulling Su Shihan and Qing Yi to a place far behind Lin Yi. Humph. The man in black was a bit annoyed that Lin Yi saw through his thoughts. Book Ocean Pavilion. Target equals and of like. Chapter 1986. Book C Pavilion. But from his point of view, it wasn't a big deal. If he couldn't sneak attack, then so be it. If he could take care of Lin Yi first, then wouldn't Feng Sanhuang and Su Shihan be in the bag? The earth-ranked black-robed man took a step forward and waved his left hand in the air, forming a layer of green mist around his left arm. The mist exuded a dense chill. It looked like he was cultivating some kind of water-type mental cultivation method, and it was paired with a snow-type martial skill. Water element, snow element. Looking at the man in black, Lin Yi's eyes flashed with a trace of confusion. In his memory, he seemed to know someone who also practiced this water element technique, and it was related to the snow element technique. But as for who it was, Lin Yi couldn't remember at all. At the moment when Lin Yi was lost, the man in black had already activated his technique. Lin Yi's eyes blurred for a second, and then he saw the man in black rushing towards him. The green mist on his left fist was even clearer, and there were even specks of starlight on it. It should be the result of the crystallization of the mist. Ice Snow Thorn. With a roar from the man in black, the green mist on his left fist suddenly broke out of his body and turned into a light green sharp blade. With an incomparably fast speed, it stabbed towards Lin Yi's chest. Lin Yi was shocked and quickly returned to reality. If it wasn't for the jade's warning signal that suddenly became extremely strong, causing Lin Yi to subconsciously dodge, that light green ice blade would definitely hit Lin Yi's chest. Even if it didn't pierce through Lin Yi's heart, Lin Yi would still be heavily injured. It was also because of Lin Yi's subconscious dodge that the ice blade was dodged, but it still touched Lin Yi's arm and cut through Lin Yi's clothes, leaving a long wound on Lin Yi's arm. Su Shihan screamed. She didn't expect this person to be so powerful. He could shoot out ice blades with his bare hands. To her, this was unimaginable. It was like a stunt from a TV show. Miss Su, please don't disturb Brother Lin. At this moment it's taboo to be distracted. Feng Sanhuang frowned as he reminded Lin Yi in a low voice. Even though he was not too optimistic about Lin Yi's chances, his opponent was too strong, and his martial technique was so ferocious. Feng Sanhuang thought that even if it was an expert of the same level, the chances of victory would not be too high. Not to mention Lin Yi, who was 2 levels lower than him. Okay. Shirhan nodded seriously. What do we do? How can we help him? We can only wait. Feng Sanhuang wanted to tell them to run if the situation wasn't right, but he couldn't bring himself to say it. That's right, Sister Han. I think that since Lin Yi has risked his life for us, we can't run away by ourselves. That would be too disloyal. Qing Yi was a very loyal person. Thinking up to here, the Earth-class black-clothed man's eyes sharpened. He planned to exchange moves with Lin Yi and test out Lin Yi's strength. Of course, a battle between Earth-class masters didn't have as many concerns as a mystic class. In a battle between Earth-class masters, martial techniques were the most important. He estimated that Lin Yi's frenzy fist should belong to the third form. So he instantly changed his freezing snow pierce into the third form, planning to fight it head-on. The frigid snowthorn was actually one of the more superior martial skills. Among the martial skills collected by the ancient Feng clan, it could be ranked among the top. Therefore he was confident that if he encountered a martial skill of the same level he would be able to gain the upper hand. So the black-clothed man's left fist went straight for Lin Yi's right fist. Lin Yi couldn't be bothered to explain too much to him. This Earth-class black-clothed man mistakenly thought that his second form was the third form. It seemed that Faubert's frenzy fist was indeed extraordinary. His second form should be able to compete with the third form of other martial techniques. But what Lin Yi didn't expect was that the Earth-class black-clothed man would change his second form into the third form at the last moment, and it was too late for Lin Yi to change it. The two fists collided with a loud bang. The black-clothed man quickly took a few steps back, but Lin Yi's body was sent flying. Book Ocean Pavilion. Target equals and of like. Chapter 1987. Book C Pavilion. Lin Yi's body landed heavily on the ground, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. It looked like Lin Yi was badly injured, but in reality, Lin Yi didn't suffer any serious injuries. He just borrowed the strength of the man's skill to fly out and didn't take it head-on. The Earth-class black-clothed man, on the other hand, didn't seem to have taken a few steps back, but he wasn't much better off than Lin Yi. His internal organs were shaken up as well. He hurriedly circulated his mental cultivation method without batting an eyelid, and only then did he quickly calm down. At this moment, Lin Yi also saw that although the frenzy fist was strong, and each style was a level higher than the other skills of the same level, if he used the second style to fight against the third style of the opponent he would still be at a disadvantage. Especially when he was weaker than the opponent and his chi wasn't as strong as the opponent, even if he used the same level skills, it would still be affected. Lin Yi quickly channeled the art of dragon mastery to heal his injuries while the man didn't move. He could also see that the opponent was also healing, but Lin Yi didn't choose to continue attacking at this time. If the two were to fight head-on, then the one at a disadvantage would still be Lin Yi because Lin Yi's strength wasn't as strong as the opponent, so this kind of fighting style gave Lin Yi an advantage. The art of dragon mastery could heal injuries infinitely, but the opponent was only calming his injuries and couldn't recover in a short period of time. This time Su Shirhan didn't dare to disturb Lin Yi, so she covered her mouth with her hand, but she was worried for Lin Yi. Again. After Lin Yi healed his injuries he didn't give the opponent a chance to rest anymore. He used the third style of the frenzy fist and rushed towards the man like lightning. The place where his fist passed through formed a long fire dragon, and the air resistance formed a long howl, die. The man didn't think that Lin Yi would dare to fight head-on, and he couldn't believe it. Because through the head-on collision he had already figured out Lin Yi's strength. Although Lin Yi's skills were overbearing and he didn't know how he practiced it to the third style, his internal strength was definitely only at the early stage of the Earth class. Although he was stronger than the normal early stage of the Earth class he should be breaking through soon, but he definitely wasn't at the peak of the early stage of the Earth class. From the result of the collision, it could be seen that Lin Yi's strength was obviously weaker than the Earth class black-clothed man, because the black-clothed man didn't even take a few steps back, but Lin Yi on the other hand was sent flying. This was a completely different level of strength. And to fight head-on in this situation, wasn't it the same as looking for death? Although he wouldn't die in one hit, a few more hits would probably kill him, so the man was very confused. What was this Lin Yi thinking? In fact, it wasn't that Lin Yi was looking for death, but because Lin Yi had no other way. The only thing Lin Yi could rely on was his advantage of being able to heal quickly. If he could use his martial skills to continuously clash with the man, and have enough time for Lin Yi to recover, then Lin Yi was confident that he could make the man stay. But whether or not it would be like Lin Yi wanted was unclear. The fourth style. How is that possible? How could it be the fourth style? The man wanted to use the third style again to fight against Lin Yi, but found that Lin Yi actually used the fourth style. It should be known that the consumption of true qi for each style increased exponentially. Under normal circumstances, under the circumstances that the level wasn't very high, using the most powerful style would consume a lot of true qi in the body. For example, if the man was a mid-earth class master, he could only use the fourth style 10 times or so before he would be exhausted. As for an early earth class master like Lin Yi, it would be good if he could use the second style 10 times, let alone the third or fourth style. Therefore, with regards to Lin Yi's fourth style, the man was very surprised. He didn't know what Lin Yi was going to do, but one thing was for sure, Lin Yi wanted to fight head-on. The earth-class black-clothed man felt a wave of depression. He also changed the third style to the fourth style and used it against Lin Yi. He actually didn't want to waste time on Lin Yi. His target was Su Shirhan. The words he said before were to threaten Lin Yi and make Lin Yi say some soft words and leave, but he didn't expect it to have the opposite effect. This guy didn't care about his life at all. Peng. Lin Yi looked at the ice mist on the man's left hand that suddenly became even sharper. Lin Yi's heart slightly shivered, but he still clenched his teeth and faced it head-on. Facing an earth-class master who was a higher level than him, Lin Yi didn't have the slightest confidence in winning. If it was just one level higher, Lin Yi could see that he could use Frenzy Fist to defeat him. If the earth-class black-clothed man didn't practice his fourth form, then Lin Yi could totally use the third form Frenzy Fist to defeat him because the third form Frenzy Fist was infinitely close to other people's fourth form. But this earth-class black-clothed man was 2 levels higher than Lin Yi, and he practiced the fourth form Cold Snow Pierce. Lin Yi could barely fight him to a draw, and it was very difficult. When he was in the mystic class, the feeling of killing his opponent in a second was almost non-existent. This made Lin Yi very unhappy and depressed. The feeling of going from the strongest under earth class to the weakest under heaven class made Lin Yi want to vomit blood. The flames of the fiery fist clashed with the ice mist of the icy snow spike, forming a huge energy collision. Lin Yi's body flew back once more, but of course the earth-class black-clothed man wasn't having it easy either. After all, the third style that Lin Yi used was infinitely close to his fourth style. This kind of head-on collision, Lin Yi already suffered internal injuries. How could he have it easy? Book Ocean Pavilion. His internal organs had changed positions, causing him to vomit a mouthful of black blood. It was obvious that he had suffered the same serious internal injuries as Lin Yi. The man in black was so angry that he wanted to curse. It was obvious that Lin Yi's strength was much weaker than his, but he could still use the fourth style of martial arts. This kind of head-on collision was a method of mutual destruction. In the end, whoever had the stronger Zhen Qi would have the advantage. It was completely at the cost of one's own injury in exchange for the other's death. Lin Yi naturally didn't have it easy either. This move brought much more damage than the previous one. Lin Yi continuously vomited 4 or 5 mouthfuls of blood, and his face became very pale. Book Ocean Pavilion. Chapter 1988. Book C Pavilion. Chapter 2000. The gap was huge, but as soon as Lin Yi landed, he didn't waste any time and quickly entered the jade space to heal and replenish his energy. As for the man in black, he didn't dare to attack Lin Yi. He had to adjust his breathing first. He was afraid that Lin Yi would counterattack him if he tried to attack Lin Yi. So since Lin Yi was adjusting his breathing, he also took the opportunity to adjust his breathing. At this time, both sides had a tacit understanding to not attack each other. This was because the qi in their bodies wasn't flowing smoothly. They also knew that if they attacked each other now, they would both die. So no one did anything stupid. After a few moments of adjustment, the man in black let out a long breath and sneered at Lin Yi. What? Brat, you just barely managed to activate the fourth move of the martial skill. Are you unable to stand up? You've lost a lot of qi and become a soft-footed shrimp? Ah, then I won't be polite. You can go die now. Lin Yi didn't want to waste any time. Even if he could heal and replenish his qi in the jade space, it wouldn't make up for the loss of his qi. His internal injuries could only be healed by half. So Lin Yi waited for the man in black to finish his sarcastic words before reluctantly returning to reality. He stood up lazily and looked at the man in black. "Oh, I've actually recovered a long time ago. I just sat on the ground for a while. I thought you wouldn't make it this time. So you're not dead yet? Then let's go again." As Lin Yi said this, he continued to use the third move, Frenzy Fist. The man in black had just finished adjusting his breathing and hadn't thought about what to do next when he saw Lin Yi using the fourth move again. He almost died. He thought to himself, "You don't want to live anymore? You've suffered such serious internal injuries in the previous head-on clash and you still want to fight head-on? Can't you just exchange a few moves before using the martial skill? Even if you don't mind the lack of Zhenqi, I do." However, thinking about it was just thinking about it. Lin Yi's fist had already arrived. The Earth Stage black-clothed man could only grit his teeth and receive it. Otherwise he would probably be crippled by Lin Yi. Even a mystic mid-phase peak master wouldn't dare stand there and let the opponent hit him. That would definitely cripple him. Bang! Another violent collision resounded, and the two men's bodies were once again blasted apart by the huge amount of true qi. Lin Yi was once again sent flying, and this time the Earth-ranked man in black was in a much worse state than the previous two times. His internal injuries had not yet recovered, so when he collided head-on with Lin Yi, he didn't just take a few steps back. Instead he took a few steps back all the way to the corner of the wall behind him. Only then did he manage to hold onto the wall and stabilize himself. But this time he spat out 2 mouthfuls of black blood. Naturally Lin Yi wasn't much better. It was also more serious than the last time. He was still sent flying, landed on the ground and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. Then he quickly entered the jade space to heal and replenish his strength. However, the physical strength and injuries consumed every time he used the martial skill couldn't be replenished in a short period of time. So Lin Yi could only replenish a small portion each time. Every time he would waste a large portion. This reminded Lin Yi of the battle with Right 13. That time, Lin Yi used this kind of tenacious willpower to compete with Right 13. But at that time, Right 13's martial skill was obviously not on the same level as this Earth-ranked man in black. In fact, it could be said that the difference was like heaven and earth. Now Lin Yi could roughly guess that this person in front of him wasn't from an ancient sect. Book C Pavilion. The sect was an ancient family. Otherwise, it would be impossible to have such a powerful martial skill. And it was also impossible for him to master the fourth martial skill at the mid-phase of the Earth-ranked. All signs indicated that if this person wasn't a genius, then he came from a wealthy family. Even hidden families would be left in the dust. "Kid, you can't do it this time, can you?" This time the Earth-ranked man in black didn't get up so quickly to mock Lin Yi. Instead he adjusted his breathing for a long time. Seeing that Lin Yi was still sitting on the ground, he mocked him. After a while Lin Yi stretched and said lightly, "I was about to fall asleep and you only finished adjusting your breathing. You're really slow. I thought you were dead." Bullsh asterisk. The Earth-ranked man in black said angrily, "You have more bullsh asterisk T than me. Stop pretending. You want to scare me away by pretending to be calm? That's just wishful thinking. Do you think I don't know that you're talking nonsense? If you had nothing better to do, why didn't you sneak attack me? Why are you still on the ground? Sneak attacks are so shameless." Lin Yi smiled faintly. "You hid your strength just now to kill one of my people. Isn't that shameless?" The Earth-ranked man in black was already infuriated by Lin Yi. This little bastard only knew how to fight head-on. Fight head-on. Yes, he must have done it on purpose, pretending to be fine to scare me away. How could I let him succeed? In fact, what the Earth-ranked man in black thought was not wrong. Lin Yi's injuries were indeed heavier than his. This could be seen from the distance Lin Yi flew. But Lin Yi had the jade pendant, so he didn't know. Hiding and sneak attacks are different. Lin Yi said, "Come on, let's continue. See how open I am. Who will sneak attack who?" The Earth-ranked man in black was angry. He was a dignified Middle Earth-ranked master, but he was being bullied by Lin Yi. But Lin Yi's bully was really effective. The pride of a Middle Earth-ranked master was not ordinary, especially when facing a weakling like Lin Yi. So the Earth-ranked man in black said, "What's there to be afraid of? Come on." And so Lin Yi's Raging Flame Fist's third form once again met the Earth-ranked man's fourth form. After another loud bang, The two were once again bounced apart. 5 times. This was the 5th time the two had clashed head-on. Lin Yi felt that his physical strength was getting weaker and his injuries were getting worse. It had already begun to affect his normal martial arts. Lin Yi glanced at the Earth-ranked man in black. Although the opponent was also seriously injured and his physical strength was also declining, the opponent was still a middle Earth-ranked master. Compared to Lin Yi, the difference was too big, so Lin Yi couldn't guarantee that he could exhaust the opponent to death. And now Lin Yi also discovered that the Earth-ranked middle Earth-ranked master in front of him and Right 13's middle Earth-ranked master were two completely different concepts. Previously, Lin Yi could exhaust Right 13 to the point that he ran away in fear, but the Earth-ranked man in black in front of him definitely wouldn't. Not to mention that his martial arts were many times better than Right 13's. Even Right 13 could only use 2 martial arts at that time, which was incomparable to the Earth-ranked man in black in front of him. Lin Yi gritted his teeth. This definitely couldn't go on like this, and Lin Yi couldn't retreat. Not to mention whether Su Shihan would be in danger if he retreated. It was just that the Earth-ranked man in black said that he would take revenge on the people around Lin Yi. Lin Yi couldn't let him go so easily. Book C Pavilion. Chapter 1989. Book C Pavilion, Chapter 2001. Very touched. Therefore Lin Yi had to think of a countermeasure. Without a countermeasure, Lin Yi would have a hard time defeating the man in black. While healing and replenishing his energy, Lin Yi's mind spun rapidly, trying to think of a solution. But in the current situation, Lin Yi had no other way. His strength was not enough, his martial arts were not enough, his mental cultivation. Yes, mental cultivation. Lin Yi had been using the first stage of the art of dragon mastery to heal and replenish his strength, but he had never used the second stage to do this. At that time it was also because Lin Yi's first stage was relatively simple, so there was no need to use the second stage. So when Lin Yi used the second stage, he only used it for healing and nothing else. With that in mind, Lin Yi quickly changed the first level of the art of dragon mastery to the second level. In the next moment, Lin Yi's injuries healed 2 to 3 times faster than before, and the qi that he'd lost in his body was also rapidly recovering. It was many times faster than before. This situation made Lin Yi overjoyed. But at the same time he felt that he was too stupid. If he had used this method to replenish his energy and heal, then he wouldn't be in such a miserable state. At least in this kind of head-on fight, Lin Yi wouldn't be at a disadvantage anymore. Of course, this situation today was completely accidental. This man in black came with a purpose. Otherwise, if it was someone else, they wouldn't fight with Lin Yi, a master with such powerful martial arts. But if he couldn't get past Lin Yi, he wouldn't be able to kill Su Shihan. And Lin Yi fought with brute force, completely using a desperate method, leaving the man in black helpless. If he didn't fight, he couldn't dodge, right? Even if he dodged, he could only dodge once. Next time, if Lin Yi used a feint and then a real attack, then he would be in danger. Moreover, as the pride of a mid-Earth class master, he didn't want to show any weakness in front of an early Earth class master like Lin Yi. He was obviously 2 levels higher than Lin Yi, so why should he dodge? But most importantly, the man in black felt that he was stronger than Lin Yi. If this continued, the first to die would definitely be Lin Yi. In fact, after 5 consecutive collisions, if Lin Yi hadn't discovered that the second stage of the art of dragon mastery could heal and replenish his energy faster, Lin Yi would definitely die after a few more collisions. Kid, it won't work this time, right? I reckon that you'll be dead if you fight another 2 times. Now kowtow and admit defeat. Hurry up and scram. Don't get in my way and I'll let you and your family go. How about that? Although the Earth-ranked man in black was stronger than Lin Yi, it wasn't by much. At most, he was on par with Lin Yi after using the second level of the art of dragon mastery to heal and replenish his stamina. If this went on, even if he didn't die within a few moves, his stamina would be depleted endlessly. Book Ocean Pavilion. Even if he went, he would still die. Therefore, the reason why the man in black said this was to test Lin Yi. He wanted to see if his estimation was correct. If Lin Yi was really an Earth-ranked early phase master, then no matter how strong he was, he would still be dead after 2 more collisions. I said that we won't stop until one of us dies. Let's continue. Lin Yi stood up and smiled at the man in black. Now that things had reached this point, Lin Yi couldn't let the man in black go. Let's not talk about whether or not he would keep his word and whether or not he would let his family go. Just from the current situation, Lin Yi couldn't leave Su Shirhan alone. Moreover, the Earth-ranked man in black had to die. He already knew of Chu Yang's background and strength. Once he returned and spread the news to his enemies, his true strength would be exposed. Would the family that had 3 Earth-ranked experts killed by Chu Yang take it lying down? So no matter what, he couldn't compromise. The man in black heard Lin Yi's words and really wanted to say, "Are you a cockroach? Why are you still here? You're an Earth-ranked early phase master, why aren't you dead yet? Are you really an Earth-ranked early phase master?" But although the man in black was suspicious, he was sure that Lin Yi was definitely an Earth-ranked early phase master. Otherwise, if Lin Yi was still hiding his strength in this situation, then there was something wrong with his brain. Su Shirhan covered her mouth, crystal-clear tears silently flowed down her beautiful face. Lin Yi didn't need to care about her at all. If Lin Yi had the strength to easily kill the man, then there was no doubt that he would make a move. But now Lin Yi clearly wasn't the opponent's match and he was fighting with his life on the line. He was sent flying again and again, but every time he stood up he'd smile and say, "Let's do it again." Su Shirhan was very touched and wanted to cry. She lost her parents' love when she was young, and this was the first time she felt that someone would treat her so well. She wanted to say, don't care about me, leave, but she didn't dare to make a sound and distract Lin Yi. Although Su Shirhan wasn't a practitioner, she could see that these two were really clashing with strength. One moment of distraction or carelessness and she would die a horrible death. All this time Su Shirhan and Lin Yi had the mentality of repaying a debt of gratitude. Lin Yi cured her headache and she was very grateful to Lin Yi, but it was just gratitude. Their relationship could only be considered as a slightly better friend. Of course, there was also the relationship between Xiao Xiao, Tang Yun, Meng Yao and Yushu. She just had a good relationship with Lin Yi. And now Lin Yi's behavior had exceeded that of a normal friend. How could Su Shirhan not be touched? In fact, the reason why Lin Yi did this was because he was the one who invited Su Shirhan, so he had the responsibility to protect Su Shirhan. This man in black had threatened Lin Yi and he wanted to attack the people around Lin Yi. How could Lin Yi let him live? Feng Sanhuang's face was very solemn. He was very grateful to Lin Yi. He wanted to help, but he knew that with his skills he would only be a hindrance. Feng Sanhuang watched as Lin Yi fell and stood up again and again. He even thought that if he could, he would die in Lin Yi's place. After all, protecting Su Shirhan was Feng Sanhuang's duty, but to Lin Yi, it wasn't his duty or obligation. Lin Yi was merely helping out as a friend. Qing Yi's eyes were filled with terror as she looked at everything in front of her, not knowing what to do. 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. Lin Yi wasn't having a good time, but the Earth-rank black-robed man wasn't having a good time either. He wondered why Lin Yi was still alive. How could he still stand up and fight with him? If Lin Yi was an Earth-class early phase master, he would have been dead by now. Even if he wasn't dead, he wouldn't have the stamina to fight him. How did Lin Yi do it? Book C Pavilion. That you're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.